happens to the government, I don't think we'd expect them to do that. So we've had in the recent times, we had mass incarcerations of individuals in this country. Our remand system is overflowing with individuals for varying crimes. And the question I'm about to ask, and probably the goodly magistrate may probably lend some light to that. Who exactly is responsible for remanded prisoners and the housing of remanded prisoners, taking care of remanded prisoners? Is it the prison or is it the judiciary? Let's ask that question. Are we supposed to hold remand prisoners in a prison that is meant for convicted criminals? Are we supposed to not care for their health? Are we supposed to not give them proper meals and take care of them? Are we not supposed to do that? Are they not innocent until proven guilty? And in some cases, they are innocent before they even got there. Probably the DPP has to relook, to take another look at some of those matters which he had instructed to charge and rescind his position on those issues. We've had recently 2 persons escape from the prison, and they raised the issue of being innocent and a false witness coming forward in their matter. Was that matter ever addressed? Did the DPP ever address that matter? Are we making any attempt to address these matters? Again, the police service needs to, do proper investigation before they charge individuals. And I'm calling on the TTPS, the Commissioner of Police, and he is doing a marvelous work. I'm sure all of us here would agree to that. But he has inherited a police service that has a lot of, faults within it, and there's a lot for him to correct within the TTPS, and we have to give him that time. But we also have to advise him as well, and let him know what he needs to do, because we can't have police locking up our poor fathers in our communities innocently, and they have to face that burden. Their families have to face that burden when they come to prison to visit them. They have to, I don't know how much of you, well, I know a lot of you have gone to MSP, and have to get there 4 o'clock in the morning. And the first person that gets there, he takes out a sheet of paper and puts his name on it. And everybody that comes after have to put their name on that paper. And they have to get there about 4 in the morning, or even earlier, and wait until 6 o'clock. And mind you, they're only mostly women who go at the MSP because they go to visit their husbands. There's no shelter out there, no toilet facilities, and they have to endure the elements and wait until 6 o'clock to go with those names. And then you are listed, and then you're called. When you go into the prison to visit your loved ones, you're asked to purchase items at the cafeteria at an exorbitant price. Another suffering again. Another suffering again. And recently, the prison have indicated that you have to buy fruits. You can't buy fruits on the outside. You have to buy fruits at the cafeteria. Now, I know most of us, we have a fruit tree in our yard. And if you ask any one of us, we can get a little 10 mango, a little 8 mango, a little zabuka, a little, banana from the neighbor and that kind of thing, but we wouldn't have to purchase it. And we take it for our loved ones in prison. It used to happen, but it can't happen no more. So it's added burden on the families. There's a lot of problems, a lot of issues that needs to be addressed. Just last night or 2 days ago, there was some video circulated on the internet, a voice note indicating that there was a strike at the MSP, a hunger strike. The prison officials, they released a statement indicating that that was untrue. We're still getting reports that it is true. I don't know, the prison authorities would have to take a closer look into it, because I understand that was duly noted into the records, that the men were passing up their meals. And the other issue, we often hear that the food is bad tasting in the prison. I've never tasted the food in prison. I've been there once though, and I was given bread and butter and a cup of tea to drink. And, you know, found myself in that situation. Was unfortunate, but that's the situation in prison. And if the prisoners are wasting the food, and the authorities know that the food is being wasted, why are taxpayers asked to spend money to service the prison, and food is being wasted like this because it's not tasting properly? It's not tasting, you know, the way our food would eat at home, you know, when we eat a meal at home and so on. So there's a lot of challenges. And like I said, the prison authorities, we should not blame them all entirely. We have the Ministry of National Security that is responsible to provide the tools and to provide the mechanism by which the prison authorities should be able to do a perfect task in holding, treating, and rehabilitating these prisoners. They are trying their best. Think about the frustration of a prisoner after 12 years waiting on a trial, 15 years waiting on a trial, can't see his wife. There are some cases where requests are made for the wife to have a special visit with her husband, and that is refused. Think about how the wife is going to feel. Think about the fallout from that type of, you know, lack of compassion and lack of respect for family and the family unit. Let's think about it. Think about when the mother in the woman's prison is accosted by the prison officers and her cell phone is taken away from her, when that is the only connection she had with her son and her daughter. Think about how that mother is going to feel, how the child is going to feel. Come on, we are a country that has compassion. And I say so with conviction in my heart, because when our neighbors are in problems, we are quick to help. We send help, we send aid. How about aiding ourselves? How about aiding our brothers and sisters who are incarcerated? And yes, I agree that a lot of them are serving time for crimes that they have committed, and they deserve the sentences they got. And some of us will think that they should have deserved, you know, harsher sentences and so on, because we know of the gruesome crimes that are committed against our citizenry here in this country. But let us stop for a moment and think. Are we helping these people? Or are we creating monsters? What are we really doing? And with this initiative, I am going to try my endeavor best to communicate in the right and proper manner through the right channels with the different state agencies. And we have started this conversation. We've started it today. And we're going to continue this conversation. And we're going to continue to have meetings like this and so on. Some of these meetings may be public. Sometimes you may be asked to walk the streets. Sometimes you may be asked to go to an office and stand in front of that office until we get a proper response. Let us not give up in this fight. I'm calling on the prison authorities and those individuals at the head table here to join in this fight. We need to make Trinidad a better place. And with this initiative, I am promising every one of you in this hall today. And, you know, it's ironic that we have this meeting in the Mandela Hall. And we know what Nelson Mandela stood for. All right? So I am promising each and every one of you sitting here in this hall today that crime, we are going to effect the high instances of crime in this country. We're going to bring it down. We're going to bring down the violence. Already, there is an agreement between the Rastas and the Muslims to set aside their differences because of this initiative. And we are going to continue to be that iron. We are going to continue to, you know, they have a saying, beat the iron while it's hot. So we are going to do that. And we're going to massage this initiative to the point where we are going to address crime on the outside, the doors of prison, and violence within the prison system. I'm going to guarantee the police, the prison service, that their officers are going to be safe. They'll be able to walk the street safely, go home to their families safely. Their families will be safe. We need to give that promise. We need to give in order to receive. And this is the call here today. We all have to compromise. We have to sacrifice something that we love in order to get something greater in return. All right? So without taking up much time again, I would call, I'm not seeing Attorney Farid Ali. Is he here? Oh, yes. I was expecting him to sit at the front desk. So I would call in Attorney at Law Farid Ali. Everybody knows him. Very popular. He's been on a lot of talk show programs, television programs, talking about this issue. And he's not representing the prisoners here today. He's in the capacity of an independent person, and he's going to give his part, his view on this whole issue. So let's welcome Attorney at Law Farid Ali.
Pleasant good afternoon to everyone. I would start by acknowledging my former colleague and current member of the Judiciary, Mr. Nicholas Ali, other members at the head table. It is a pleasure to be here. As I said to Mr. Abdullah, I was coming purely in the capacity of my personal capacity. I'm not representing anyone here, any organization here this afternoon. I'm happy to see that the turnout is as vibrant as it is today. Very often when forums like these are organized, the turnout isn't as large in number as we are seeing and witnessing today. This could only be a reflection of the fact that you all are all feeling the burden and the pain that your relatives are facing in the jail, and using this as an opportunity to represent their interests, right? I think you all need to bear in mind and to be encouraged that we are living in times in this country where the criminality levels are ascending. It's getting worse. That doesn't mean to say that the persons who are in prison are in fact guilty of each and every offense for which they have been brought before the court and caused to stay in remand. Everyone is entitled to due process of law, and within our constitution, your relatives, they all have that right. The frustration that you face is that the system is so slow in deliberating that families are dislocated in the process. So it's almost as if you are the fodder in the fire, feeling the hurt and the pain, seeing your children hungry, seeing your children not having access to that relative, and time passing. By the time they return to you, they've lost 10 years of their lives, and things aren't what they used to be. Sometimes, as women, you all would have moved on. As men, they would have become so accustomed to being away from you all, it's difficult